Wait a second, my brother. Today, I'll tell you something you'll never forget. Thought it's the most powerful thing we humans have. You think before you eat. You think before you take a bath. You think before you step outside your home. So tell me, my brother, why don't you think before you try to become rich? Every action begins with a thought. But when it comes to money, most people stop thinking. They say, that's not for me. But the truth is, thought can make you anything, limited or limitless. There was a man named Aaron. He lived in a small town, worked long hours in a noisy factory, and came home every night exhausted. All he really had was time to think. Each night, he'd sit near his small window, watching the streetlights fade, and dream about a better life. What if I could start my own business? What if I could invest my money? But every morning, the alarm clock screamed, and those dreams vanished into routine. Until one day, he whispered to himself, enough. Today, turn my thoughts into action. He started saving just 10% of his salary. It wasn't much, but it was a start. He used that money to invest in a small local shop. Every month, he made mistakes. But every mistake taught him something. People laughed at him. He smiled, because he knew. People always laugh, until your thoughts turn into results. Years later, Aaron didn't just own a shop. He built a financial consulting company. And when asked how he did it, he said, I became rich the day I stopped only thinking and started acting on what I thought. My brother, that same power lives inside you too. Every thought you have is a seed. But a seed never grows by just existing. It needs action. It needs soil. So think, but never stop moving. Because once you learn to walk on your thoughts, money will start walking toward you. When I was a kid, I often saw my father staring at the ceiling, lost in his thoughts. He didn't have money, but he had a mind full of ideas. He used to say, son, a rich man isn't the one with gold in his hand, but the one who knows how to think. At that time, I didn't understand, but now I know, he was right. Because everything in this world, from airplanes to skyscrapers, was once just a thought inside someone's mind. The problem is, most people never give their thoughts a chance to grow. They think small, they dream small, and so, they live small. If you plant a seed in your mind and water it every day with belief, that seed becomes reality. But if you plant doubt, it dies before it even grows. Let me tell you something real. There was a man named John Carter. He wasn't rich. He worked in a small repair shop, fixing people's watches. But every night, he sat by his window and imagined building a company that could sell timepieces to the entire world. People laughed at him. They said, "You're crazy, John. You fix watches. You don't make them." But John didn't stop thinking. He didn't stop believing. He knew the mind is the factory of the future. Years later, that same John Carter became the founder of one of the biggest watch companies in America. He said in an interview, "I didn't build my company with money. I built it with thought." So, when you think, you can't stop. When you feel poor, stop. Because being rich doesn't start in your wallet. It starts in your mind. If you can control your thoughts, you can control your destiny. The only difference between a millionaire and a poor man is what they choose to think every morning. So, friend, next time when you eat, walk, or even breathe, remember, your thoughts are the blueprints of your life. You don't need a big office or fancy tools. You just need a mind that refuses to stop thinking. Because the world belongs not to the strong, not to the lucky, but to the thinkers. There's something you were never told in school. You already have a bank inside your mind. Every single thought you think is a deposit. Every doubt you allow is a withdrawal. Most people keep withdrawing. They wake up and think, I can't do it. I'm not lucky. I'm not born rich. And without knowing, they empty their inner account every day. But the ones who rise, the ones who build empires, they make daily deposits. They think, maybe not today, but someday I will. You see, your mind listens. Whatever you tell it, it becomes. If you say, I'm broken, it will find reasons to keep you broken. But if you say, building, the universe will start helping you build. That's why people like John Carter, Steve Jobs, and Elon Musk weren't magicians. They were just investors, not in money, but in thoughts. You might not have dollars, but you have imagination, and that's the real currency of this universe. Think of your thoughts like coins. Every time you imagine something positive, you're putting gold into your mental vault. Every time you let fear win, you're spending it on nothing. And just like any real bank, if you invest long enough, you start earning interest in the form of new ideas, new chances, and new people. So if you feel poor today, stop looking at your wallet. Look at your thoughts. If your thoughts are weak, your life will be too. You can't buy success with money, but you can build it with belief. Remember this. Every millionaire was once broke, but they weren't poor in thinking, because poverty begins not in the pocket, but in the mind. So start saving your thoughts. Start investing in dreams, and one day, you'll withdraw a life you never imagined. Because the richest people aren't those who have the most, they're those who think the best. Let me tell you a story about a man who proved that thoughts can truly shape reality. His name was Ethan Moore. He was an ordinary man working in a dusty garage on the edge of the city. Every morning, people walked past him without noticing. But Ethan saw something they didn't. While others saw broken engines, he saw dreams waiting to start. He would whisper to himself, "One day, these hands will build something that moves the world." His friends laughed. His family called him unrealistic. But Ethan didn't argue, he just kept thinking. And every night, he imagined a company with his name on it. A place where cars weren't just machines, but stories of innovation. He didn't have a single dollar, but he had a rich mind. Then one evening, while fixing an old engine, he had a thought. What if a car could run cleaner, with air instead of fuel? That idea hit him like lightning. And for the next 5 years, Ethan worked day and night. He failed hundreds of times, but every time he fell, his thought lifted him again. People called him crazy, but when his first prototype worked, the world called him a genius. Ethan's invention became the foundation of a billion-dollar company. And when a reporter asked him, "How did you do it without money?" he smiled and said, "Because money follows the mind, not the other way around." That's the truth most people never realize. Your world doesn't change when you earn more. It changes when you think better. So if you're watching this right now, don't underestimate the small thoughts that visit you every day. They might look weak today, but in the right mind, they can move mountains tomorrow. Because thought is not invisible, it's the blueprint of everything visible. Before every invention, before every success, there was always a thinker. So, stop waiting for the right time. Start thinking the right thoughts. Your future is already inside you. You just have to believe it loud enough for the world to hear. Have you ever noticed? Some people attract money like a magnet, while others chase it their whole life. It's not luck. It's not timing. It's thinking. You see, wealth doesn't chase those who beg for it. It follows those who believe they already deserve it. There was a man named Aaron Blake. He wasn't born rich. Not even close. He lived in a small apartment with cracked walls, and a dream too big for the room. But every morning, he woke up and said, "Money is already finding its way to me." He didn't wait for opportunities. He thought of them. He created them. While others were scrolling on their phones, Aaron was writing plans. While others were complaining, he was visualizing success with his eyes closed and heart open. Weeks passed, then months. Nothing happened, but Aaron didn't stop thinking. He knew, thoughts are like magnets. They attract slowly, silently, but surely. One day, he met a man at a coffee shop by accident. That man turned out to be an investor searching for ideas. And Aaron had one not just on paper, but alive inside his mind. That meeting changed everything. His idea became a product. His product became a brand, and his brand became a symbol of self-belief. Aaron said in an interview, "I never chased money. I chased my thoughts until they turned into gold." So if you're watching this, don't ask, "How can I get rich?" Ask, "What kind of thoughts am I feeding my mind every day?" Because if you think scarcity, you attract scarcity. If you think abundance, you attract abundance. The richest mind is not the one with ideas, but the one that refuses to think poor. So start today, my friend. Think like wealth already lives in your house. Think like your dreams are already calling your name. Because once your mind becomes a magnet, your life has no choice but to follow. There comes a point in every man's life when he finally understands, It was never about money. It was about mindset. Ethan, Aaron, John, they all learned the same truth. You can lose everything, your house, your job, your comfort, but as long as your thought is alive, you are still rich. Because the moment you stop thinking, you stop living. Every invention, every empire, every miracle started inside someone's mind before it appeared in this world. Do you realize what that means? You hold the same power inside you, the same power that created airplanes, bridges, and billionaires. But most people bury it, under fear, under doubt, under excuses. They think they need motivation, but what they really need is clarity of thought. So today, I want you to do something simple. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and imagine the life you truly want. Don't just see it, feel it, because that feeling is the spark that turns thought into reality. You don't need money to start. You just need the courage to think. The poor man says, "I'll believe when I see." The rich mind says, "I'll see when I believe." That's the secret. That's the difference. Every rich man you admire was once a thinker sitting alone in silence. They didn't wait for permission. They gave themselves permission to think differently. And that difference changed everything. So remember this, my friend. You are not poor. You are just one strong thought away from becoming unstoppable. Because real wealth isn't what you hold in your hands. It's what you hold in your mind. Now ask yourself, what are you thinking today? Because tomorrow, the world will show your answer.